Welcome back to the Mowing in the Dark podcast. I am your host, Ariens Sutter. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Guys, it is a beautiful 44 degrees outside today here in Lansing, Michigan. It is just gorgeous. The sun is shining. The snow is melting. It's wonderful. It's just a beautiful day. I don't have anything else to say other than that. Guys, man, I love days like this. So, as a lawn care provider, do you want to make a year-round income? Are you worried at the end of the lawn care season because you don't know how you're going to make it through the winter? Then you need to check out the 12-month contract from mowinginthedarkpodcast.com. This is the same contract that I use to make my own year-round income. This 100% editable 12-month contract is available for only $5.99. The contract has rock-solid terms and conditions so that you're protected from all kinds of liability in lawn maintenance and snow removal. Get your 12-month contract at mowinginthedarkpodcast.com today. Today, I want to talk about something that I just heard, like literally 5 minutes ago on a YouTube video it was titled something like Charlie Munger's Final Words. And if you don't know who Charlie Munger is, he was one of the bigwigs in Berkshire Hathaway. And I believe he must have passed away or something, obviously if it's his final words. And he's good friends with, what's his name? The other guy. The other rich dude, old rich dude. I can't think of his name right now. But Charlie Munger, all right, he has like almost Coke bottle glasses, really thick lenses, can't barely see. Very rich dude. And the whole video was about investing. But something that I heard as I was getting out of the shower, I was listening to this video as I was in the shower, was this statement, and it caught me off guard because I've never thought of it this way before. And so I wanted to do a podcast on it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do a podcast on today. And then I heard this statement and I was like, whoa, that makes a ton of sense. So what Charlie said was, and this is a quote, most of the world is not driven by greed. Most of the world is driven by envy. Let that sink in. The world is not driven by greed. Rich people are not driven by greed. I'm not driven by greed. Most of us are driven by envy. That is a powerful statement if you listen to it. Because greed is on one side, envy is on the other. Envy is from people wanting what you have. So my thought today in applying this to the lawn care business, the business world, as a solo guy, all right, who kind of wants to stay solo, and I've been thinking, I've talked about it here on this podcast before about bringing on an employee, and I've been tossing that back and forth. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Do I want to bring on an employee? Do I want to do the work myself? What do I want to do? Do I want to grow this business? Like when you think of a business like a building, okay? So in Lansing, Michigan, we only have maybe one really tall, fairly tall building, all right? And it's not that tall. It's like 20 stories, maybe a little bit more than that, okay? Maybe 40 stories. And it's the tallest building in Lansing. But do I want to grow big and tall like that? Or do I want to go flat? Do I want to build at one level? Instead of building a big business, going up, stacking people on top of each other, building the business that way, do I want to spread out with spreading services out a little bit, adding a service here or there, not a ton, all right? Just a small little business that makes a good, relatively good income, all right? And so that's where I've been at these really my whole business is because I'm making more money now than I've ever made in my entire life. All right. Now I don't pay myself the amount of money that I know that I'm worth because I'm operating my business. All right. And I want my business to be healthy. But I pull in about $75K a year myself, working by myself on my business, my little lawn care business. $75,000 a year is a lot of money. All right. And I consider that, and the government considers that because I'm a single member LLC. They consider that that is my income. So I make $75,000 a year. That's the most, by far, the most money I've ever made in my life. Now, again, I want to reiterate, I don't pay myself anywhere near that. I couldn't, because that's the business income. I know that that's not my income. All right. I know that that's the business income. All right. But I pay myself a reasonable salary, just like most of you listening. Pay yourself a reasonable salary. And my salary is not outrageous by any means. All right. I mean, it's not in the thousands. All right. It's not. I'm still in the hundreds, if you believe that. I'm still in the hundreds. I'm not ashamed to say this. Guys, I'm not, because I'm not envious of you. I don't care. I'm building my business. I'm making the business the way I want to make it. I'm building my life the way I want my life to be. I'm not looking at my neighbors and thinking, wow, look what they have. I don't care what they have. I want to be happy here with what I have. I don't care what my neighbors have. I don't care what the next lawn care business down the road has. I don't care. I'm building my business, my brand, the way I want it to be, my life, right? I'm not building your life. I'm not trying to capture your life. I'm not trying to Photoshop your life. I'm not trying to capture it and make it my own. I'm making my own life. I'm not in competition with anyone. All right? Some of you want $1 million businesses. Good for you. That's what you want in life. I guarantee you're going to have more stress in your life than I am. I guarantee that. I guarantee you that stress in your life is going to have a negative impact on your health. I guarantee it. I'm trying to build a business that is virtually stress-free. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not looking at anyone else. I'm not looking to be the next Brian's Lawn Maintenance on YouTube or on the podcast or anywhere in the lawn care business. I don't care what Brian does. I don't. Good for him. He's built a crew. He can take time off. He can spend the whole week. He can spend the whole year with his family and not miss a beat. Good for him. I applaud that. That is amazing. That's the life he wants to build. This is the life that I want to build. And maybe it'll shift. It has shifted over the years. But I'm not trying to live Brian's life. He's not trying to live my life. I'm not looking at Brian's business and saying, man, I wish I had this, and I wish I had that, and I wish I had this and that and the other thing. I don't care. Because that's not my business. He's in a different area than me. He's got totally different things than I do. He's got a totally different setup. He's got totally different people. He's got a totally different income range than I have here. Totally different. I'm not looking at him. I'm not looking at Marvin Salcido in Texas. I'm not looking at him who runs a multi-million-dollar business. I'm not looking at him for anything. I admire him. I admire what he's done. I admire Brian for what he's done, but I'm not trying to be those people. I'm not envious of them. Because what you don't see is the sleepless nights, the torture that these people have been through, building the business the way they wanted. And Brian, I know Brian Fullerton has talked about it on his podcast, of just the stuff that he's had to go through what he and his family have had to go through to get to where they're at, to be where they're at, to get that level that they wanted to get. I don't want to go through that. I don't. I don't. I don't look down on Brian for going through that stuff. It's made him a better person. I guarantee it. But that's not what I want to do. I'm not envious of him. I don't care. I'm not out here trying to grab money. You know, everybody that doesn't own a business, let's put it that way. Anybody who doesn't own a business thinks that business owners are greedy. We are not greedy people. Most of us live below the poverty line. Most people don't know that. Most people don't care. They don't care. Most business owners, most entrepreneurs live below the poverty line. It's just truth. It's just truth. Sure, you might see that I have a truck in the driveway, a 2020 Dodge Ram 2500 truck in the driveway. Good for me. Let's applaud it. Yay! What you don't see is that I have a truck payment on that. What you don't see is the stress of having to make that payment throughout the winter. What you don't see is that I tried to do everything in my power to buy a used truck and I could not find one. I shopped from coast to coast and could not find what I needed. I needed a 2500 truck. Didn't matter what it was. I don't care about brand. A 2500 truck with some sort of snowplow prep package, because if you don't get the snowplow prep package, it voids the warranty if you put a plow on it. Done. Gone. All right. So I looked for used 2500 trucks. And at that point, it doesn't matter if they have a plow prep package. I can do things to make it hold a plow. Okay? I can put timbrins on. I can do different things. I can change the suspension a little bit. I can put better components in there. I couldn't find one that was in decent shape, that was reasonably priced. All of the used trucks that I found that were 2500s, they were more than a brand new truck. And they had about 80,000 miles on them. So when this deal came along for this truck that I have now, it was a sweet deal. And I picked it up. And I sweated over the purchase of this truck. That truck was the largest purchase I have ever made other than the homes that I've bought. Now I say homes because we've bought and sold a home, and now we bought another home. I don't own two homes. I pay myself less than $1,000 every 2 weeks. So people look at me and I've had family members talk about me behind my back. They don't think I know, but I know. Okay? I know. And they talk bad about me because I have a new truck in the driveway. I didn't want the dang new truck. Because I didn't want that payment. I don't care if it's new. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care if it's new or used. I don't. What I care about is bringing home the most money for my family that I possibly can. And because I had to buy that stinking new truck, I can't bring home as much money as I could. That's what people don't understand about owning a business. They don't understand the struggles that the business owner goes through on a weekly, monthly, daily basis. The ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster that it is to own a business. When you're an employee, you're sheltered from all that stuff. You're the front line. You're the employee. You're not privy to all that ups and downs crap. But when you own the business, that is where the rubber hits the road. And I'm telling you what, it is a roller coaster ride. I mean, if my wife was here, you could ask her. I have been agonizing over a purchase of a machine, and it's a very expensive machine. And I finally decided to pull the trigger. But I have been going back and forth on this machine for a year. A year! Trying to figure out the numbers. Once a week at least. Going through the numbers, making sure that they're right. That I'm not missing something. That I can afford this machine. That it's going to make me profit. And I still don't know if it's going to make me a profit. Because you can't see the future. I can do what I can to see, to forecast, but I can't see the future. People don't understand these things. Employees don't understand these things. So that question that Charlie Munger that quote that Charlie Munger gave was that our world is not, by and large, is not run by greedy people. And it doesn't run on greed. It runs on envy. We spend money like it's going out of style because we're envious of our neighbor. We spend money on a new car because our neighbor got a new car. Guess what? They got a new car because they saw their neighbor who had a new car. And that neighbor saw their neighbor had a new car. That's where it's at. That's where it's at, guys. It's just, it's envy. And if you didn't know, envy in the Bible is a sin. We're out here dishing out money for things we don't need, things that we don't even want. But we're dishing it out so we look good to our friends, people that we don't even care about. I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm not here to impress my neighbors. I'm not here to impress anybody except for my family. My immediate family. And you know what impresses them? Me being home every night. Me being home on the weekend. Being able to spend time with them. And bring home a paycheck. That's what impresses them. That's what gets their machine going. Is that I can be home. I can be part of the family. I'm not out working 80 hours a week. That's why I've built my business the way I have. That's why I choose to be solo. And I know this podcast is kind of all over the place, but this quote just got me thinking about all the different business owners that I see out there. Some of them are like me. They don't care what anyone else is doing. They've got their head down. They're in the foxhole. They got their head down. They got their head screwed on straight. They got their head on a swivel, but they are not trying to be the guy in the next foxhole. They're just trying to survive and do what's right for their family. And then you've got guys that they seem to be in competition with the business down the street. This business just bought this machine. I got to go buy that. Ooh, that looks cool. I want that. I don't get that attitude. I don't understand it. Maybe that's just, I'm not built that way, but I'm not a jealous person. I don't care. I'm not envious. Now, I've seen some cool things. I've seen some really cool things. Some cool equipment that I'm like, yeah, I'd like that. Man, I could put that sucker to work. You know, I could see myself in that thing. But I'm not envious of somebody that has it because and I don't. I'm like, good for you. Way to go. You know, one thing that I try really hard to do in my business, in the lawn care business in general, is having route density. I have worked on this and worked on it and worked on it. And it's not easy, guys. Because in my area, we don't have a lot of subdivisions. Our subdivisions are few and far between. And the ones that we do have, they are completely overrun by the big boys in town. When I say big boys, I mean multi-million-dollar outfits. Like at least a dozen trucks. They've got dump trucks. They've got a whole supply yard. That's who is overtaking these neighborhoods. Not me, not little Lansing Lawn Service. So I'm trying to build route density outside of those areas, outside of those subdivisions. And it's hard. It's hard. You know, when I think about route density, my first thought goes to Brian with Brian's Lawn Maintenance, because he's done it right. He's done it right. He's gotten a bunch of people in the same neighborhoods, and he keeps it tight. And that's awesome. That's how he makes so much money with his small business, is because he has a lot of clients in a very small area. And that's awesome. I want that. If there's one thing that I'd be envious of, it would be the route density that he has. But I know that I'm not in his area. I've been to where he lives. I've been there. It's a beautiful area. It's a busy area. There's a lot of people that have a lot of money over there. And that is a great area to be in for lawn care and landscaping. I live in Lansing. Lansing is completely different. I don't know if you're from Michigan, if you've ever been to Lansing, but there's nothing to see here. Nothing. We have a couple of automobile factories, which pulls people from the communities outside of Lansing, the majority. Where I grew up, there was a lot of people that would come and drive to Lansing, 45-minute drive to work at the factory. Lansing itself, it doesn't, a lot of the people here, they're lower income. They're like lower middle income. There's not a lot of money here. There are some areas that have a bit of money, but by and large, there's not much money here. And so that's where I'm building my business. And so I can't have the same kind of route density that Brian has or that Naylor Taliaferro has. I can't have that. But I can create my own. I can create a form of that and do the best that I can. And that's what I've done. And so I'm not looking at these people and wishing that I had what they had. I'm not. I'm building my own. I want to build my own. I don't want to copy what you have. I spent some of my life trying to copy people. You know, in high school, I mean, I was chubby, okay? I'm a chubby kid, but I played high school basketball. I was a starter on a homeschool basketball team, and homeschool basketball in the 90s was pretty competitive around here. Not as competitive as it is now, but it was still pretty competitive. It was pretty new. And so I was a starter, but I was short. I'm 5'10", but they put me in center, at the center position. Center is like the big guy, you know, tall, 7-footer. I'm 5'10". But they put me there because of my size, my weight. I could box people out. I could set picks and blow people off their feet. Things like that. So what I'm trying to say here is that at that time of my life, I wanted to be something big. I had it in my head. I didn't want to look like Dennis Rodman. I didn't want to have his attitude, but I wanted to be able to play ball like Dennis Rodman. I thought, you know, if I could rebound like Dennis Rodman, that would be something. That would be something. And I wasn't even close. I sucked at rebounding. I could box out, but that was about it. Because I was big and slow. And I didn't jump very high. But I could box out. But I had it in my mind that I wanted to be this person that could rebound. So I spent a lot of time at home. I didn't have a gym membership necessarily, but I spent a lot of time at home. I would work on my vertical. So I would jump rope. I would do calf raises. I would do squats. Anything legs to increase my vertical. Which, by the way, it didn't increase much. And so I wanted to be somebody that I couldn't be. I could not be that person. Dennis Rodman, as crazy as he is gifted in a way that I'm not gifted. He's gifted in a way that I'm not gifted athletically. All right. And then I was in music, Christian music, and I wanted to be a worship leader in Christian music. So I wanted to lead, not famous, just, I wanted my name to be known around the area. And so I tried to make my style like the style of a guy named Chris Tomlin, all right, who's a big deal in the worship leading thing. He's like a Grammy Award winning songwriter, artist. So I copied what he was doing. It was worthless, guys. It wasn't me. That's not me. I want to be me. And you need to be you. Stop wishing you had what other people have. Stop wishing you had the equipment that the guy down the road has. Because chances are he's in debt up to his eyeballs. Or chances are that equipment might be really nice, but he's had like 13 breakdowns in the last year. Maybe that machine is not what it's cracked up to be. It could be anything. You cannot focus on what other people have. You got to get your head down. Stick that helmet on. Stay in your foxhole. Stay in your foxhole and quit looking over at your buddy in his foxhole, wondering what he's doing. You're in your own battle. You're protecting your own space here. You're protecting your region. That's what you're doing. All right? So don't be focused on what someone else has, how much money they're making, how much money they're pulling in. It doesn't matter. Run your business. I'm not saying don't improve. I'm not saying don't look at another business and say, what are they doing to be successful? I'm not saying don't look at a business and analyze what they're doing, because you want some of what they have. You want to have that success, but your business isn't running as smoothly as their business. But I'm not saying want what they have. Don't be envious, and don't be greedy. Just run you Inc. As Johnny Moe would say, run you Inc. And just run it. And over time, as you progress, your business will get stronger or weaker, depending on the decisions that you make. But just know, your business is your business. The guy down the street, his business is his business. You don't have the same things that he has. He doesn't have the same things, the same issues you have. I don't have the same personality that someone like Brian Fullerton has. He doesn't have my personality. If I had his personality and he had my personality, our whole businesses might be flipped. Maybe he'd be where I'm at and I'd be where he's at. But we're not. God created us differently. And just like every single one of us is created differently, every single business is created differently. And every single business has a different goal in mind. It's not all about making as much money as possible. It's not all about just dominating the competition. I don't care about the competition. I'm the competition. I don't care. I'm just here to run my business and support my family. So, guys, I hope this was motivational for you today. I hope this got you looking at yourself. That's what I try to do with a lot of these episodes, is get you guys to look at yourselves. Look inside yourself. Examine yourself. Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you run the business the way you run it? Is it because you're envious? Is it because you're greedy? Is it just because you want to support your family? What is it? Examine yourself and find out. That's what I want. That's what a lot of these podcasts I try to do with these podcast episodes is just to get you to think and examine yourself. And I hope this one has done that for you today. Thanks for listening, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget about those 12-month contracts. Guys, mine are blowing up, man. I've got like 20-some 12-month contracts going in my business this year. It's amazing. It's awesome. I love it. That's year-round income. And it's just going to, as long as I do a good job and do my part, they're just going to stay on that and just keep going and just keep rolling. And that is year-round, year after year income. I love it. So don't forget about those. Visit mowinginthedarkpodcast.com. You can check out the 12-month contracts there. You can also find a client cancellation letter. If you've got clients this year that you want to get rid of, check out the client cancellation letter. It's $5.99. All right. And then I also have a Craigslist ad, which you can use it on Facebook too. And that's only $1.99. So go check that out. Check them out, mowinginthedarkpodcast.com. That's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for listening and watching, and I will see you in the next episode.